Hi, good to see you. So, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you feel guilty about taking out time for yourself? Do you feel guilty about the attention that you give yourself, or do you feel guilty about taking out time to do things that you enjoy? Right? If you feel like that, you're not alone. As many other mothers out there, I think there are many of us who struggle with this kind of a guilt, right? Even if we do not often admit it to ourselves when we take out that time. Because most of us, of course, don't even have that much of time, or that's what we think, right? And if you have noticed, in the last week, I just completed a Facebook challenge called Making Time for What Matters Most. And I wanted to share a few learnings from that. As a coach, as the person who guided about 15 participants through that Facebook challenge, and these were some of my learnings, right? And that's what I wanted to share because I think it's important that you and I both understand, what are some of the beliefs that might be holding us back, right? And so the one of the things that came up, for the many of the participants as they shared their journey is that they often believe that they are not really worthy of the time, they are not really worthy of the attention that they would like to give themselves, and that's one of the reasons that they often justify that honestly that I don't have the time. So we call it time excuses, and I have done it in the past as well, right? I am no stranger to this. I am no different than you or anyone else. It's just that I know that's not really serving me or my family. I realized that it was not serving me or my family. For me to be not healthy, for me to be not happy, for me to be not feeling fulfilled, simply because I was the one, and if you're a mother, you are the one who is the primary caregiver for your children. And we actually take up, if you would have realized by now, that it's not only about the logistics part, it's not only about the house management part, or it's not just about taking care of the studies or the rest of the family members. It's also a lot about the emotional burden that of the family that we carry consciously or unconsciously, that we as mothers, we typically carry a lot of that emotional burden of the family. There's nothing right or wrong about this. It's just a fact, right? That most of us carry the maximum uh, weight of that. And while our spouses do our best to support and help us, and I have a very supportive and kind husband, uh, but I know that I carry that emotional burden for primarily for my children, and it feels heavy at times. So if I don't take up the time to take care of my own mental and emotional health, which then translates also into physical health, if I don't feel good about myself, if I don't feel good about sort of taking out time for myself, then I really struggle on those days, and I have those days, and I'm sure you do too. So this was just to sort of give you an overview about some of the things that I noticed while we were going through the Facebook challenge, and while of course the challenge was on creating time, and it was actually about time management. But in the end, I think most the participants realized that time management is actually about managing yourself. It's about understanding yourself. It's about knowing what your beliefs are and what your limiting beliefs are and what might be holding you back now. So what I'm planning to do is that I will be doing a series of Facebook Lives starting today, every Friday at 12 p.m. right here. And I will be covering various topics that I think are important. They have always been important for our mental and physical and emotional well-being, but I think they're even more important now as we struggle to adapt to a very unique set of circumstances in the modern world, right? We are living in a very um, connected world in the online space, but otherwise there's a lot of social disconnection which is there in the physical space, and I think that's something that I know that I have been craving for, right? And we are social animals, social beings, and that's something I'm sure that all of us miss. It's not, I mean, while we are obviously physically distancing ourselves, and I think it's best suited if we call it physical distancing and not really social distancing, because that takes a toll on our health and well-being, and that doesn't really serve any of us. But yes, we have to follow these set of rules and for a while to come, right? So as we do so, we also need to ensure that we're taking good care of our mental and emotional health as well, because I think for even for those of us who have not had any such issues in the past, these things can crop up. And for those people who are already struggling with some emotional mental health issues, that's getting aggravated, right? So we are aware of that. So this is a big area that I want to focus on. This is actually the area that is a part of my membership program, which I'm going to be launching next in September. But I'll be sharing that with you, and I think this is something that I wanted to share today. And if you haven't heard my podcast, it's called Nourish Heal Connect, and it's available on all leading platforms like Apple, like Google, Podcast Addict, Spotify, so iHeartRadio. So just check that out. It's called Nourish Heal Connect, and it actually gives you different tools, different perspectives. I take you through some guided visualizations, a few guided meditations to help you deal with these changing circumstances. So I hope that this was short and sweet for you, and I will see you again next Friday right here at 12.